All right, well, good evening and welcome to another installation of a magnificent, not really a magnificent minute, but more of a fantastic 5-minute interview. I have a special guest with me this evening. Before I get to that, my name is Ernesto Rodriguez, Chief Consultant, JAE Consulting. Again, my special guest this evening is Elder Brother Keith Graham. Keith, for those who may not know you or know your background, can you tell a little bit about you and your journey?
Yes, my name is Pastor Keith Graham. I'm retired Air Force member. Served in the military. I did some joint assignments with Ernesto Rodriguez back in the day, so we go way back.
Way back.
Way back, yeah, way back. Back before we had all this gray on us. And we couldn't wear beards. I'm a local pastor. Been in the ministry for some 18 years now. Started out in the Maryland, DC area, working in ministry, and then transferred to North Carolina to help take care of my mother, who was aging about 7 years ago. And so I'm assistant pastor at a local church down here now as well. And along with ministry, being a pastor, I'm also senior case manager for Men and Women United for Youth and Families, in which I'm the workforce development manager for the organization.
Yes.
So yeah, those are some of the duties and titles that we're working with, as well as I'm like Rod, you got about 25 different jobs,
Right.
and I count them all as ministry. I'm also the area director for voter registration for about 6 counties in the Southeast North Carolina region, as well as I'm the area director and crowd fellow for the state of North Carolina for the Southeast region, dealing with gerrymandering and redistricting of maps for fair elections.
Very important stuff.
And in all of this, I count it all as ministry. Everybody that I work with, that work for me, that I work for, I let them know that everything that I do is ministry related, being led by God.
I love that banner, and I love that brand, man. That's unique. You don't hear too many people, waving that banner and using that as a brand. So I respect it, and thank you, so much for sharing that with us. And I know you're doing, case management and other civil stuff in the community, but more specifically, what made you get into the field of ministry? 18 years, what made you back then get into that?
Well, actually, Rod, you knew me before I was saved, when we were working together, and you were around when I got saved, and you could probably attest to the transformation of when I got saved.
Yes.
I came from good stock, good ground, in which I was taught a lot of valuable lessons, and like many, I turned away from those lessons. And as I got older and growner and went through the bumps and bruises and fell on my head a lot, I ran into some people that invested in my life and spoke into my life. I don't know if you remember Brother Ron Young.
Of course. Yes.
And he just took the time to hear me. He didn't care about how bad I was, how cool I was, how how this. I could be transparent around him. And through that, I ended up giving my life to Christ. And in giving my life to Christ, the same passion, I was the type of person that you couldn't just tell me anything and I'm going to follow it. You had to teach me something. You had to show me and make me a believer. And so I was around some good people that were teachers and that didn't mind sitting down teaching me and not just tell me to do it because I said do it or do it because this is what you're supposed to do. It was a teaching moment. And so that caused me to chase God the same way I was chasing the streets, to chase God the same way I was chasing women, to chase God to turn my life into one that was about being a dreamer instead of a schemer. Learning how to split from scheming, and I could master some schemes. I was perfect at it. People would come to me and help figure out how to perfect their scheme. But I turned my life over from scheming to figure out how to dream, to make things happen better for God. And God has blessed me. He's put his hands on some things that I've touched. He's turned some things over, and he's amazed me and some moves that he's made. And so that's sort of how I got into ministry. And when people saw things in me, where I didn't see it myself because I was still stuck on the shame, guilt, and lack of confidence in being able to move forward into my destiny, into my reality, because I have perfected how to do certain things over here. So some things you know, we, especially as Black men, we won't step into things we don't feel we can conquer. So
right.
if I didn't feel I could conquer it, or because I didn't understand it, because I didn't believe it wholeheartedly, because I didn't study it like I was supposed to, I wasn't committing fully to it. So I was going to hold on to some stuff still over here that I was comfortable with, that I was good at. So it wasn't turned my mind and my heart over to wanting to be able to know that God could excel me and do more for me than I could do for myself. So when I came to that realization, I completely surrendered my life all the way over to God, and he fast forwarded stuff for me.
That's amazing, brother, man. I mean, you talk about 18 years in that field and seeing so much that is going on, and you know, with politics, with the country, with our communities. You know, that's just I can't imagine, you know, being in that field and just preaching that on a, you know, on a daily basis, or even on every Sunday for that matter of fact. So with that said, you know, what kind of changes and trends have you seen in the ministry, you know, over the years, you know, in your 18 years and beyond?
That's an excellent question as well. What I've seen is there's been a great divide between the haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
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 We've got to invest in ourselves. That part has been taken out of. Everybody wants to get stuff quickly. Everybody, because of their lack of confidence, it's low self-esteem, because of their shame, and they want the microwave quick fix to get to where they see somebody else at. But you've got to believe in yourself, and then you got to, in believing in yourself and learning your dream, you got to know self, accept self, develop self, and give self.
There it
So
is.
in knowing who you are, you got to be able to connect with people so you can help develop. First, you got to accept who you are. Accept that you're from a single parent household. Accept that you may have been molested. Accept that you don't have all the fine Jordans that your people wore. Accept that you were on welfare. Accept that you didn't have that you didn't get to eat the meals that everybody else. That you were from this side of the town, or this side of the tracks, or from this project. Accept that, and once you accept that, then you develop that from there. You develop yourself and get rid of those challenges and those barriers, because those challenges and barriers are put in play by the enemy or by the devil himself to try to keep you into that place of having not. The devil don't care as long as he can keep you in that place, and mentally and emotionally and spiritually, that you feel you don't have, that you're not worthy, that you're not qualified to operate in a certain space. So once you get to that place of knowing who you are, accepting who you are, then you connect with people and develop who you are. You develop who you are. You become the best you that God created you to be. The best speaker, the best presenter, the best walk the best you can, talk the best you can, eat the best you can, run the best you can, build your business the best you can. Don't take the shortcuts from a have-not perspective. Build towards your future. Because not only you got to invest in today's generation so that the future generation can prosper. If you're only looking out for yourself, you're only looking out for building your own entity, your own empire, getting over and taking the quick schemes to be able to take care of yourself now, you'll never get to the full potential who God created you to be. You've got to be in that investment mode. You've got to be in that taking care of mode. You've got to be in that building capacity mode. And the only way you can do that is by knowing who you are, accepting who you are, remain teachable, and develop who you are. Then once you're able to develop who you are, becoming the best that you can be, be on your journey. You don't even have to be the best yet. Be on your journey to be being the best. Then you can give yourself back to somebody else. Because whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. And as you're sowing and you're investing, you're planting seeds, and you're giving and giving and giving, then your harvest is going to grow. Then you're going to grow up and sprout up to be the man that God called you to be when you were a little child, going through your traumas, your hurts, habits, and hangups. Then those things won't be able to overtake you anymore, because you've grown from who you used to be.
That's right. Well, I tell you, man, in the next question kind of leads into that as well. What makes for the best elder then, right? What makes for that? And I feel your energy right now. I feel like I'm in church right now, brother. I tell you, man, I'm right there with you now. Right? So if somebody's watching this interview, he's like, man, I'm interested, but I want to be the best, right? What does it take to be the best? Right?
That's another excellent, brother. You hitting this stuff on the head, and it's about transparency. It's about you knowing who you are and being transparent about it. And in my ministry, I call it Men on a Mission. And I think some time ago, you may have came to some of the sessions we started the ministry. Reverend Rick Greenlee, I'm up in Maryland, and it's about being a mentor, and that's letting a man tour your life. Mentor is letting a man tour you. A mentor. You can only mentor somebody by letting them see inside of your life. You can't let anybody tour nothing. You can't mentor anybody unless they can tour your life. That's the good. That's the bad. That's the unacceptable. That's all of that. So when somebody can see you fall, can see your process of rising up, it can inspire them to rise up out of their stuff. Right. It can give them the confidence to know that if God did it for you, he can do it for me. To know that you're human and you're not that you're not perfect. Because one of the things that keep people from turning to God is the people that represent God. So when they see the people that represent God, think that they're perfect and look like they're looking down their nose and turn their nose down on them, they'll never turn to God because you're in the way.
That's right.
So being transparent and being honest to yourself and to the people that you're serving. If people that know me, that I serve, that I work with, they know I'm the preacher that come and kick down the door of the crack house for you. If you need me to come get you, I'll come kick down the door of the crack house. Now I might not go in there alone. I might have me strapped on the side. Right. I might have a couple brothers with me, but we're gonna come get you because
you ain't knocking.
I'm not afraid to get on the ground and get dirty with you. If you're willing to get killed, if you're willing to move forward, I'm willing to get dirty with you if that's what it takes to help bring you up. Because there's some brothers that got dirty with me. There's some people that invested in my life. There's some people that didn't give up on me. There's some people that kicked me up behind to get me on the right track, but I knew they did it out of love and they wasn't doing it to give up on me or look down on me. Now I tell this story about my brother, my older brother. I'm the youngest of 11 kids. So my older brother, when I was two quick stories, so he used to smoke cigarettes. And so I'm hanging out with him and I'm smoking cigarettes. We got, I'm sneaking. And I get to the house. He said, Mom, guess what your son over there doing? He ratted me out. I said, wait a minute, I got the cigarette from you. Because he did it out of love to keep me from going down the route that he was going down. He couldn't make me do nothing. He could have, because he was my older brother. He was still with me, but he forced me to face my reality and be honest with myself. So I appreciate those, and I show much appreciation to people that are invested in me. And do it out of love. Everybody got enemies, and I got time to focus on enemies and frenemies and haters. I focus on the people that have made investment in my life, because that's the stuff that's gonna make me grow.
No, that's right. You kind of answered the next question, but I want you to elaborate a little bit more about this one. How do you best serve the congregation, and people in the community in that sense as an elder, right? And I love what you were saying about, how, what makes for the best elder, and you're absolutely right. You have to be there. You got to be open. You got to be transparent. You got to open up yourself so they can see you being vulnerable, so that they can open up themselves and be free with you. So definitely. So, how do you best then serve, and again, you touched on that, but I wonder if you can elaborate a little bit more about that specifically. How do you then best serve your congregation?
Serving my congregation and serving my management and leadership. So in that vein, it's the same principle that applies to both. So you identify and label and brand yourself of your own qualities of who you are. Don't let nobody tell your own story. So if you're honest, people will know you as being honest. And that principle is the three principles I try to live by is being honest. So people are gonna know that Keith is gonna be honest. Now my son and my daughter say, they'll say something, and I'll say, and my daughter would say, hold on a second, Daddy's thinking. And my son would pause because he know I'm about to come with something that's honest, and I'm just trying to be exhortive. I'm trying to say it in a way that it can be received and not be so hard. You can be honest without being brutal. That's right.
That's right.
You
That's
can be honest without trying to hurt somebody and tear somebody up.
right.
You can be honest in love and share with people so that they can help foster their growth and development. And I don't know if you remember, I may have shared this with you years ago about the 3 before 1. Being able to give somebody 3 positives before you give them the hard conversation. So being able to share something that's positive, share so that it can be softened the blow so they can receive it. Because if you come at somebody, because some people say, I just got to get off my chest. Sometimes that can damage and destroy and hurt somebody more than it would be if you would just stop, listen to God, and speak out of a God principle of love, or speak out of how God is trying to give it to the person, versus because you got some information, because you think you know something, you're trying to hurt somebody with your knowledge. So being honest is the first thing. The second thing is being attentive, paying attention, being an active listener, hearing what the person is trying to say. Not only hear the words, but hear their heart, hear where they're coming from, be able to see the person, who they are. Because sometimes you can be able to see a person and see their scars, see their hurts, habits, and hangups, to see where they're speaking from and not just what they're speaking about. Because some people have defense mechanisms where they're just saying stuff because this is the cliche. They're saying stuff because it's going to back you up off them. But if you can see into their soul, you can speak down to the little man in them. You can speak down into the hurt in them. You can speak to the pains. You got to be attentive to be able to hear what the person's saying. So if you're honest and you're attentive, then the last thing is you got to be empathetic. You got to be empathetic to people. You got to be able to, like Jesus said, he said, I can be touched by your infirmities. And the preachers that have served under me and served with me, I always teach them that you've got to be like Jesus, be able to pick up somebody's stuff, but be able to serve them and be able to leave it there. You can't pick up somebody's stuff and carry it as a weight, because an unjust weight is an abomination. It's going to kill you. Rod, 250 pounds of me. If I jumped on your back right now while you're trying to run your race, what's going to happen to you?
Oh, you're going to break me down, bro. Don't do it.
That's right. You're going to break down. You're going to stop. You're going to eventually die in that space trying to carry a weight that you're not meant to carry. So you got to be empathetic with the intent of hearing people and the intent of being able to get to the core of where they are so that you can help minister them, to lift them up from where they are. Because most people are dealing with hope issues, dealing with belief issues. And it's not just about belief and hope in God. It's about belief and hope in themselves.
Right. And mental health is real, no doubt.
My God, my God.
Hey, all right. So let's go to the question number 5. This is getting juicy, man. What advice will you give to someone coming into the field today? A young person is watching this video. They want to hear, I'm interested. I hear what, Pastor and Elder Brother keeps saying. What do I need to do right now? What advice can you give to somebody to put them on track?
A good question. That's another great question. So as a pastor, serving God, and as a case manager, running departments and having people that are case managers under me, touching people and serving people, yes. I've said it earlier. I do everything from a ministry perspective. So what I would do at church, I would do at work. What I would do at work, I would be comfortable with doing at church. So it's a lifestyle. That's right. So that's me being honest with myself. So the first thing is you got to know your strengths and weaknesses. You've got to know them. You can't only just know your strengths and promote, but you got to know what your weaknesses are, because both can bless the people God has called you to serve. Your strengths can bless them, and your weaknesses can bless them. So if you know them, then you won't be tricked, bamboozled. You won't be acting out of character. You won't be falling out of context. You won't be responding, and ready to go back to the old Keith Graham, because you know weaknesses. And you know they're about to mash this button. They're about to go into this space that's not good for me. So I know my weaknesses. So wait a minute. I understand that you might be going through something right now, but but right now through here, let's try to redirect this and go over here and talk about this. I understand you might be frustrated, and I don't blame you. I feel what you're going through, and the truth be told, if I might be responding the same way if I was in the same shoes you were in, but I'm just here to help you. So what can I do to serve you to make this situation better for you? So being able to know my weaknesses, because your weaknesses can bless somebody. What you've gone through can bless somebody. What you're dealing with just this morning, on the way in the car, on the way with your wife, what you are going through might bless somebody that might be going through this and don't have nobody to turn to, have nobody to give them hope, they have no, and they're ready to put a gun to their head. They're ready to kick the dog, beat the cat, and scratch up the car because they don't have any solution or any
That's right.
vision of how to deal with their circumstances of life.
Real talk. Thank you, brother. You laid that out perfectly, man. I think anybody who's interested in it, they can really get something from that. So thank you for that. And this brings us to our last question. This is what we call the crispy one right here. All right. So other than money, cars, houses, insurance, money, and all this kind of stuff you can leave to somebody, notwithstanding any of that, what 3 principles will you leave to the next generation for succeeding in ministry, in life, in business, at work, whatever, as a caseworker, in your total experience in life? What 3 principles will you leave to the next generation for that, and why?
Well, I kind of pre-answered it earlier, so I'm just going to rehash. I'm just going to rehash this again. It's about knowing self, accepting self, developing self, and giving self. If you can get on that wheel of life, and everything that you do, you got to make sure that fits in one of those categories. Before I preach any message, it's got to line up with about helping somebody know who they are. It's got to line up with somebody accepting who they are. It's got to line up with somebody developing who they are. It's got to line up with somebody giving who they are. So it's got to be based out of one of those principles of life. And so in life, before I make any decisions, before I make any moves, before I run, before I commit to or get in bed with something, I weigh it against those things. And if it's not going to help me excel in life in one of those 4 areas, I don't want nothing to do with it. But doesn't mean your plan isn't a good plan for you. Right. Doesn't mean that God isn't going to bless you. But if I can't see it, for me, I might kick you some money. I might pray for you. I might do it. But and Rod, you know me. I'm one of those that's all in. So if you moving and we hit the streets, I'm moving and hit the streets with you. But before I can give a level of commitment to get down and dirty with you all the way in, it's got to reach one of those 4 aspects. So those principles go through my life. And knowing self means that you know who you are. You got to know. You're born in the right race. You're born in the right place. You're born in the right family. You're not a mistake. You got to know the color of your skin and what it represents. You got to know the dialect of your tongue and what it represents. You got to know the color of your hair and what it represents. You got to know the shape of your body, your gender of your body. You got to know who you are. And when you know who you are, then you accept that. You accept that. And you love who you are. If nobody love on you, you better learn how to love on yourself. If nobody what you deserve in life, you better give it to yourself. And on the flip side, if you don't show people how to love you, they're going to treat you any old kind of way. So if you don't accept yourself, how do you expect somebody else to accept you? If you don't walk in the confidence who you are, how do you expect your boss to walk in the confidence who you are? If you don't walk in the confidence, how do you expect your wife, your children, or anybody else to walk in this thing when you're selling yourself short and stealing the investment of who you are in this earth from the people God has called you to bless?
Well, I'll tell you, we're gonna have to leave it right there, boy, because this can go on for another hour, 2, 3. So you know what that means? I'm gonna have to have you back so we can maybe even delve deeper into just the spirituality piece of religion. But this is supposed to be a 5-minute, fantastic 5. But I don't even care how long we've gone on, Keith, because this has been outstanding, man, fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you for taking the time to share with my audience and our viewers. Appreciate you. My name is Ernesto Rodriguez, Chief Consultant, JAE Consultant, and my special guest, Elder, Pastor, and I want to just call him Minister and so much more, my friend, my brother, Elder Keith Graham. Thank you, brother. Keith, for those who want to get in touch with you and learn more about what you're doing in the community and get involved, maybe consider becoming a case manager or whatever, just to get in touch with you, how can they reach you?
Well, I'm with Men and Women United for Youth and Families, and you can find us on Facebook. And our website is there as well. My email is kgraham35@gmail.com. And that's kgraham like the cracker, kgraham35@gmail.com. Hit me up anytime and I'll be willing to share anything that I can to help you succeed in the endeavors that you're trying to do.
And he most certainly will. And I know that from personal experience. Brother Keith, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us again. Thank you guys for listening in. Until the next time, We'll see you on the next installation of a fantastic 5-minute interview. God bless you. See you next time. Good night.